Let's look at the first race at Cheltenham for day 3. Billy, you
Sorry,
look like you just jump in there.
Confirm my selection now. Just to say, across all the world was second to new one last year. I got myself tongue-tied, sleep deprivation.
Right,
but,
yeah, it is a tiring week. What do we fancy at Cheltenham 1:30?
Well, we've got to really start with the form with Oscar Whiskey and Tarquin de Sil, because they've faced each other a couple of times, and also a wonderful charm obviously fits into that as well. In November, Tarquin de Sil was getting weight from Oscar Whiskey and beat him. They went against each other again at Cheltenham in January, where Oscar Whiskey then reversed the form. Oscar Whiskey is first time tongue-tied tomorrow, which is quite interesting. I thought I've never been a massive fan of Oscar Whiskey though. I've always thought he's tripless. But over 2 mile 4 in a JLT, it might suit him. Tarquin de Sil needs, I think, softer ground. I don't think this quick ground's really going to suit him. Wonderful charm again, Paul Nicholls, the form, I'm slightly worried about him. I know it's not really been voiced too much so far, but wonderful charms for me. He gave Oscar Whiskey £8 in December, and he was only beaten half a length by him, so this is very, very tight.
And it is sort of a matter of one weekend they'll beat one, and then the next weekend they'll beat another one. The exception to that is Willie Mullins again, going for a hat-trick of day 1 victories on the first race with Felix Younger, who was second in the Neptune back in 2012. Probably had an interrupted preparation, but probably favourite for this race.
He was beaten.
Sorry,
go on.
It's not the Sandy show.
You were just moaning at me for being quiet, so I thought I'd pipe up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Felix Young's had a bit of a better run this year, hasn't he? So a cleaner run with things, had a few races prior to this. Although he's an 8-year-old, he's not the most exposed, and his form is probably the best. I kind of share Sandy's muted enthusiasm with Oscar Whiskey, who's now a 9-year-old and wonderful charm. Neither of those would excite me in this race. I would be looking overseas at the Irish horses. But I don't know if Willie Mullins, when he runs 3, I don't know if he'll have the winner. I do rather agree with Will that Sizing Gold, who's a horse of potential rather than the horse you'd find in the form book, but he's a really nice physical type of horse. He's always going to be a nice chaser. And his 2 runs so far have been fairly impressive. They got beat last time. There's bound to be more to come from him. So, young horse, I'll be prepared to take a chance with him, I think. Yeah.
Going back to Felix Younger, he obviously finished 9 lengths at Leopardstown behind Trifolium. Obviously finished 3rd in the Arkle yesterday.
Running on though.
Yeah, he had slight mistakes that day. I think back up in trip on better ground is to suit him a lot better. This race does look tailor-made for him. We should talk about Harry Fry's horse Vukovar. He's come over with a big reputation, but he was beat by a horse called Mr. Mole at Warwick. On that form alone, I couldn't.
If you get beat by Mr. Mole, you've always got to doubt the form.
You do, and I think he's a horse. He's only a 5-year-old, and I think that he will be better maybe with another season on his back. It's a very tight race, and I think it's going to be a very, very close finish. But I think Felix Younger looks the most progressive.
Billy?
No, I'll take a chance. It's not a race I'd really bet in, but I'll take a chance with Sizing Gold.
You bet in every race, you do.
No, I don't. No.
He certainly doesn't.
No, right, OK. Let's go over to Sam for his view, see if there's any prices also on the GLT. Wonder if he can help us out on that aspect.
Yeah, I can tell you that currently you'd be looking at 4-1, the favourite, which is Willie Mullins, Felix Younger. I've actually backed this horse. I've got to say, 4-1, starting to get a bit skinny, having lost a small fortune on Champagne Fever by the width of a hair on the first day. I must say, I'm hoping that this stat that Willie Mullins doesn't get chase winners at Cheltenham is soon going to disappear. And to be fair, his horses are in great form. I don't think we can read too much into that one. I did put out there a tweet about Paul Nicholls' form, and you guys have come back to me, several different people, some saying it's Daryl Jacobs' fault, some saying the yard's just not firing. It would be putting me off a little bit, and like I say, his horses aren't being backed tonight. If you like Billy Green, you think Sizing Gold's a good bet, you'd be looking at around 12-1 with BetBright, and looks like Bet365 as well. You've got Wonderful Charm in there if you do disagree with what a few people tweeted in about the trainer. We've got 11-2 in most places available as well. Keep the jumper doubles coming in. I'll pass you back to the team for the next feature.
Well, it will be the next feature after a short break. Don't forget, we've got quite a few videos on YouTube as well. You can look back on our previews from day 1, day 2, and some other sort of subjects away from the actual race meetings. We've had 1 or 2 notorious debates hit on the panel as well with Jeff Banks and John McCoo. You can look back on those on our YouTube channel.